What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update. And in this video, we're going to go over the latest details of what is going on with the second stimulus check and the second stimulus package, which does include another check of at least $1,200, and it could be more, says the White House, and also a check to all dependents, and those could also be more, also says the White House. The White House and Nancy Pelosi are pushing to get a deal done by the end of this week, what they say the next 48 hours. I'm going to give you all the details of what is going on with it in this video. But first, if you can, give this video a like down below. And if you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on new videos regarding the second stimulus check and election updates. I will keep you guys updated as soon as new information comes out. Okay, first up, the White House is pushing to get a stimulus deal done and a stimulus agreement done with House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, the leader of the Democrats, within the next 48 hours. White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows says, "I am optimistic. We do share one goal, and that is hopefully to get some kind of deal done within the next 48 hours or so." Mark Meadows said the discussions had entered a, quote, new phase as the White House and Democratic negotiators wrangle over the language of the potential bill. He says, quote, "I can tell you that the negotiations have entered a new phase, which is more on the technical side of trying to get the language right if we can agree upon the numbers. We are still apart on the numbers, but the last 24 hours have moved the ball down the field." White House Communications Director Alyssa Farah says, quote, "The president's position is we're willing to go up on the number for the PPP program, the Paycheck Protection Program, and direct payments, which is stimulus checks. Some of the issues still surround state and local and some of the other issues, but we're at the table, conversations are happening, and I think it's the best kind of place we've been in, so cautious optimism." We have now seen several different times within the last couple days that the White House wants to give more money for what they're calling direct payments or stimulus checks. We don't know the full details of this quite yet, but it could mean that the $1,200 stimulus check that everybody is expecting for the second stimulus package could end up actually being more, potentially $1,500 or $2,000. The other possibility is that the child dependent and the adult dependent, if you're dependent on somebody's tax return as an adult, last time you likely didn't even get a check, and children got a $500 check. This time they're pushing to give all dependents a check, and they're pushing to also make it $1,000 instead of $500. So if they actually do negotiate more money for the actual stimulus checks, that would be the best news that we've heard all week. U.S. House of Representatives Speaker and leader of the Democrats, Nancy Pelosi, says that help is on the way and a relief deal could be imminent. She says, quote, "There will be a bill. It's a question of, is it time to pay the November rent, which is my goal, or is it going to be shortly thereafter, and it will be retroactive?" There's been a new resurgence of talk about President Donald Trump doing a presidential executive order now that we're within 2 weeks of the election, and it takes about 7 days, says Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, to get the money out and to send it to people via direct deposits. They will be the first persons to get their money within 7 days. And there's now a renewed talk that the president might try to pull a rabbit out of his hat and do a presidential executive order for stimulus checks right now before the election. Whether he can or can't do it, I'm not sure of the legalities because there's been so much information thrown around about this. Of course, the Democrats say he can't do it. The Republicans say that he can do it, and he did do it previously for the unemployment presidential executive order, where the money was already sitting there in the disaster relief fund, and the presidential executive order just redirected it for unemployment money. And the question remains to be seen if he can do it again with this $300 billion he says is already sitting there from the stimulus, the first stimulus package. And there's also several hundred other billion there sitting there from the Paycheck Protection Program that hasn't been used, the Main Street lending programs, and several different programs from the first stimulus package that has already been approved by Congress. There's reportedly now up to $800 billion that hasn't been spent from the first stimulus package and has already been approved by Congress. That's actually enough for two $1,200 stimulus checks and multiple months of an unemployment boost going forward. So the question is, will the president pull a rabbit out of his hat and sign a presidential executive order before the election? Whether it's iffy or not, whether it's borderline, whether he can or can't do it. The Democrats said that he couldn't do it last time with the unemployment presidential executive order, and he did it anyways. So the question is, will he do it again now that we're right before the election? There's actually been a lot of news about President Donald Trump here within the last 24 hours. Reportedly, last night, he was in an interview with 60 Minutes and actually walked out of the interview. Reportedly, he stormed out of the interview because he said the interviewer was biased against him. JP Morgan analysts say that the US election polls are narrowing and Joe Biden's lead is decreasing while President Donald Trump is slightly increasing. And we're now having a much closer election than a lot of people thought. President Donald Trump yesterday, actually in a rally in Pennsylvania, told the crowd that he didn't even plan on being there and he wouldn't have been there rallying in Pennsylvania, which is a major swing state, if his campaign wasn't going so badly. The president said 4 or 5 months ago, when we started this whole thing, because, before the plague came in, I had it made. I wasn't coming to Erie, Pennsylvania, he says. I mean, I have to be honest, there was no way I was coming here. He says, I didn't have to. I would have called you and said, hey, Erie, Pennsylvania, if you have a chance, get out and vote. We had this thing won. We were so far up. Quote, we had the greatest economy ever, the greatest jobs, the greatest everything. And when we got hit with the plague, I had to go back to work. He says, hello, Erie, may I please have your vote? Now, President Trump's saying this actually reiterates a video that I did several months ago on how any president having to deal with this virus and this plague, as he calls it, would have a very difficult time of being reelected. And I actually said that that is the reason that if President Donald Trump isn't reelected is because of this virus, because honestly, whether it was Trump, Obama, Bush, Clinton, anybody that had to deal with this in their first term, especially the last year right before they're elected, it's just the worst timing ever. If you were president, this is like the worst case scenario. I mean, this is a once in 100-year pandemic where we had to shut down our entire country. There's people mad that the country's shut down. There's people mad that the country isn't shut down now. There's people mad that they got the virus and people passed away in their family. There's people that are mad they lost their jobs. There's people mad that their jobs aren't open. And it's very difficult in this point to pretty much make any, I wouldn't say anybody happy, but a lot of people are unhappy for both reasons. The economy's closed. The economy's not open. Schools are closed. Schools are not open. Do you send your kid to school with the virus? It's just like, it's a nasty situation that we're dealing with. And really the only thing that could help it right now is more stimulus to the people. President Trump's campaign is demanding a change to the final presidential debate, which is tonight. Trump's campaign is demanding that the commission adjust the topics for the final presidential debate so that the meeting focuses on foreign policy, saying that the commission should observe a, quote, long-standing custom by making foreign policy the central focus of Thursday's debate. I personally don't think that the focus of this debate should be foreign policy. I mean, at this point, who cares about foreign policy? I mean, I know we care a little bit, but the vast majority of us care about the pandemic and, reopening America. Should we reopen? Containing the virus? I mean, getting people back to work safely. I mean, that's what America really cares about right now. And of course, stimulus to help us get through. We got to get through this pandemic, right? I mean, we got all those things, getting the virus, not getting the virus, having the vaccine, crushing the virus. And we need stimulus to get us and the economy through this time. In fact, that is what the Fed keeps saying, and they just reiterated again that a lack of a fiscal deal or a stimulus package could reignite the recession in America. And honestly, Nobody wants to go back to the lows of the recession earlier this year when the whole country was shut down. We really don't want to see that happen again. So let's just pass more stimulus and let's crush the virus. Election polls do show President Donald Trump creeping a little bit closer, which is a significant gain for President Donald Trump, who just a week ago there was national news that Joe Biden was ahead in the polls by 14 points or 14%. And as you can see, some of these swing states like Florida actually show a virtual tie with a 49% of the vote going to both Joe Biden and President Donald Trump. You can see here there's a lot of swing states that are close, and then there's some swing states where Joe Biden is still leading, such as Pennsylvania, which is 49 to 42%. There has now been over 42 million Americans that have already voted, either early in person voting or early mail in voting. Over 42 million people have already voted nationwide, and there's still 13 days left to election. That's already 89% of the 2016 early in person voting, and we're going to blow way past the record of 2016 for early in person votes. Now, my wife and I will be having a debate special video for you guys later tonight after our 8 p.m. video, probably somewhere around 10 p.m. with the highlights and both my wife and I with some commentary for you guys. And we will be having election day specials. I don't know how many videos we're going to have on election day, but I'm going to be updating you probably like every hour or two with what's going on with the election, what's going on with Nancy Pelosi's reelection, what's going on with Mitch McConnell's reelection, what's going on with the House and the Senate, whether they're going to turn Democrat or turn Republican. I will be keeping you guys updated on all that stuff because it's very important to our stimulus and further stimulus packages. Even if they do agree and pass a stimulus package now, will we receive more stimulus in the next 1, 2, 3 months? Will we have more unemployment extension updates? Will we see more stimulus checks? All that stuff is going to depend after the election, whether the Democrats control it, the Republicans control it, or if President Donald Trump or Joe Biden is in there after the election. All that stuff is going to be very dynamic and will decide whether we get more stimulus and more unemployment extension updates going forward. So don't forget to like this and subscribe down below. Click the bell icon if you want to be notified when we go live. And share this video. Click the share button down below. Share this on Facebook. Share this with your friends and family so everybody else can stay up to date with the second stimulus check updates. You can click on this top video to watch my newest stimulus check video next. And this video teaches you how to start a business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon, and I teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, guys, and I will see you in the next video.